What's up, guys? Welcome to Knockers on the Bottom. I'm your host, Jay Mill. Jay Mill, if you like. So let's get into it. So today we're going to take a look at the Cowboys offense versus the Philadelphia Eagles defense. I think in some ways the Cowboys might have some options here, but for the most part, it's going to be pretty challenging this week. Again, just like we looked at a couple days ago, or a day and a half ago, the Philadelphia, offense against the Cowboys defense, we're going to have a little bit of trouble here as well. So I'm going to take a look at some of the ways the Cowboys might be successful. With Cooper Rush in the game, I really expect the Dallas Cowboys to use the short passing game to kind of help out and facilitate some of the shortcomings that they have at the quarterback position. Cooper Rush traditionally has been a very good backup quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys. His career record is like 5-1 when he comes into games. And so if he's going to get the win this week, I expect to see the Cowboys have a game plan using a lot of the short passing game, a lot of, underneath stuff, things that are, maybe about 10 yards or less per attempt through the air. He's really going to be trying to get the ball out of his hands quickly and let his playmakers make plays. So here we see against Atlanta, Dallas kind of doing some of those things. So, if we roll the tape here, Dallas right now, they look like they have 4 people that'll probably go out in the route. They got their 5 down linemen, the tight ends there. You got CeeDee Lamb lined up at the top of the screen. You got Jalen Tolbert and Jalen Brooks lined up in the bottom of the screen. You have Rico Dowdle lined up in the backfield. So the Cowboys got 4 receivers going on the route. Maybe they'll have Rico Dowdle stay in and protect here. Maybe he'll chip and go out. Atlanta matches it with basically nickel, right? They got their 4 linemen. One's kind of standing up, the other's standing up.
So I don't need to use a full cap
Here, and they got their safeties in the back. Sorry, guys, sound coming out of nowhere. But they got their safeties back there. They got their corners. They're basically coming out in nickel defense to match what the Cowboys are doing. So let's see what the Cowboys do here. So no motion on the snap of the ball, of course. The Dallas Cowboys are not. Oh, here we go. Right at the snap, a little bit of motion. Right? So here we go. Stop the ball. We see here, Cowboys used a little bit of motion. It didn't really help the play much. I mean, it just kind of got the receiver going a little bit. But Dak actually has a couple of options here. So if you want to see the way the flow of the offensive line goes, on the snap of the ball, the offensive line, they all kind of drift a little bit to the right, to the top of the screen here. Once Jalen Tolbert goes in motion at the last second, boom, fake the read option, right? So as you fake the read option, you have all the offensive linemen go that way. And this is one of the things the Cowboys actually did well this game, because we talked about, when we looked at Atlanta's offense, the last week, we talked about how their offensive line got on the move, and therefore the defensive line also got on the move. And that's what you got to see. You see a little bit here with the Dallas Cowboys. So you got Jake Ferguson coming out in the route here. You got Tolbert. He's downfield. He's actually pretty open. You got this guy here going down the middle of the field. And then you got CeeDee Lamb also coming across the middle here. So Dak actually has a couple of people that he could hit on his route, because this guy's back is turned, right? So you could go here to CeeDee, and then he can continue to run it up here and maybe have some room in the open field to make plays. You can go to Ferguson. Right now, of course, the way the play is designed, I would go to Ferguson because he has the most open space. Atlanta doesn't cover it too well. Let's take a look at what happens. So Ferguson gets the ball in open space, and he makes a guy miss, which he's very good at. And then the run after the catch is what the Cowboys are really going to depend on this week. So Ferguson makes the run after the catch, gets a lot of yards, gets the Cowboys a big play very early on in the game. This is the first quarter. This is Dallas's first possession. He actually did a great job of getting some yards and helping the Cowboys get into, he already helped us get to Atlanta's defense and make sure, hey, you're going to have to play us all day long, right? So now, take another look. Dallas Cowboys lined up here. Now, same thing. They got 4 men out on the route. This time, Rico Dowdle's lined up to the right of Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott. Atlanta matches it pretty much the same exact way with nickel. And the Cowboys here are going to try to see what they can get going. So Dak Prescott drives back, boom, finds Rico Dowdle out in the open field. Makes a guy miss with some nice power there by Rico, right? So you can see the Dallas Cowboys game plan against Atlanta was to get the ball out of Dak Prescott's hands very quickly and allow his receivers to make plays in space. And early on in the game, it definitely was working. And as the game goes along, Dak Prescott ends up getting hurt. The Cowboys end up getting down. They have to kind of change what they're doing. But you look here, Atlanta, 4 down, Cowboys. So let's take a look at the protection here. Boom, so freeze it. So the Cowboys do a really good job of getting a hat in a hat, right? Terrence Steele is taking care of his job. Tyler Guyton's taking care of his job. You got Zach Martin here, he's doing his job. And then you got Cooper Beebe and Tyler Smith doing their job. These receivers are headed downfield, but there's nothing really open there, but it doesn't matter because nobody accounts for Rico Dowdle coming out of the backfield. So you see Rico gets the ball here, boom, plenty of space. You got your guy here, your money man, CeeDee Lamb up here ready to make a block. You got Jalen Tober up here hoping that he'll make a block. So the only guy that can really stand a chance of making a play is this guy here. But this guy here doesn't do a great job of getting Rico Dowdle to the ground. Boom, he misses the tackle in the open field, and Rico Dowdle was able to cut it up for a couple of extra yards, get out of bounds, make it a great play for the Dallas Cowboys, right? This is the type of stuff that we're going to need to see against the Philadelphia Eagles. Their secondary is kind of suspect a little bit. They've been playing better as of the last 3 to 4 weeks. I mean, since their bye week, their team is actually defensively has been one of the better teams in the league. But what we're hoping is that the Dallas Cowboys can make them revert back to who they've been. This is a Vic Fangio defense. They're going to allow a lot of this underneath stuff. And with Cooper Rush in the game, the Dallas Cowboys are going to play to that. They're going to want to get a lot of this underneath stuff to their receivers and allow them to make plays. It's just with the Cowboys, what becomes so frustrating is as the game goes along, they can't sustain their game plan, right? They'll start off well sometimes. I mean, we've seen the Cowboys start off pretty crappy as well. But sometimes they'll start off well and they'll be doing things well, and then they won't be able to sustain it and keep it going, right? So boom, here we go. Another play in the first quarter here. So now Dak is under center. We have 5 wide receivers, single back. So now we know there's going to be, several one-on-ones across the offensive line, as well as, maybe a double team on one guy. And the Atlanta Falcons match it pretty much the same way they matched the previous 2 plays, which is nickel defense, right? This is the defense teams are going to play 90% of the time. Now, the problem with playing the Atlanta Falcons as opposed to the Philadelphia Eagles have a Carter, and Carter is going to be a monster to deal with on the inside. And if I'm the Philadelphia Eagles, I take Carter and I line up about Zach Martin. I know that's blasphemy, but Zach Martin has not been himself this year. If I line him up against Tyler Smith, I think Tyler Smith wins that match all day long. He's going to whip him. So I would take him, and the Eagles might not, because they might say, hey, man, that dude's an all-pro. That dude's a future Hall of Famer. Let's go against the guy who's only in his 3rd year and still kind of getting better and still learning, but is definitely the Dallas Cowboys' best offensive lineman. So as the play goes here, Cowboys are pretty static, it looks like. Nobody moves to start the play. Dak Prescott drops back. Boom. So protection is great, but even if the protection wasn't great, Dak gets the ball out of his hands very quickly, and he's very accurate with this pass. This is what we're going to see from Cooper Rush pretty much the entire game. The Cowboys are going to run this very similar game plan. Cooper Rush is going to get to his back foot, and he's going to make a decision. He's not necessarily the type of quarterback that's going to hold the ball, try to scramble around a little bit, see what reads he has downfield, hold the ball, boom, big play. So the Cowboys' skill position players, such as Jake Ferguson, such as CeeDee Lamb, such as Rico Dowdle. They're all going to have to make sure that they are getting the most out of their abilities after the ball gets into their hands. So Jake Ferguson gets the ball here. Boom, pretty good in space. He has 3 people to beat to the end zone, but he gets plenty of yards, after contact, makes a great play, and the Dallas Cowboys end up with another first down. So we want to talk about, again, one of the plays that frustrated pretty much everybody on the Cowboys team later on in the game. So let me see if I can find it here, because this was later on where the Cowboys were trying to make a comeback in the game, and they went to Jake Ferguson and they tried to get a play to him and make sure that they got that first down. So boom, that's the play. This is the play, guys. This is the play that honestly, probably, at the time we see the score is 21-10. Atlanta's pretty much holding a commanding lead, and the Cowboys are working hard to try to make this stay a game instead of falling too far behind, which we know failed. Now that history told us they failed at this, but the play design was correct. Mike McCarthy called a great play here. There's no reason this play should not have gone probably for a touchdown, but at least into the red zone, maybe at least first and goal. So let's see. Empty set. Boom. So at the snap of the ball, right, the set is empty, right? You have these 3 receivers this way. You have Rico Dowdle. He looks like he's in protection. Jake Ferguson's only job before he goes out to catch the ball is to get a good chip on Matthew Judon here. That's what he needs to do. He needs to get a good chip on Matthew Judon, right? That's his only job before he goes out to catch the ball, because he's going to get rewarded here regardless, right? Dak Prescott attempted the ball to him regardless. So he's going to get rewarded. He needs to go out and make sure he gets a proper chip on Matthew Judon. What does he do? He whiffs. He whiffs on the play. And if you look at all the other linemen, let's take a look. Zach Martin does his job. Tyler Smith does his job. Guyton's holding up like a champ here. You already got CeeDee Lamb ready to engage with a block. You got this receiver here running as a secondary option so that if Dak Prescott doesn't want to go to Jake Ferguson, he can go out there to the upper receiver. Jalen Tolbert, just below that receiver, is in position. They're ready. They're ready to go. Right? So, now, if Ferguson gets a proper chip on Matthew Judon, he doesn't get in Dak Prescott's face so quickly that Dak Prescott is not able to try to make this at least a decent completion. But instead, Dak just has to get rid of the ball because it's over. The play's over. It's dead. But if he chips properly, right, and then you see him here, you got an offensive lineman on a corner. You got another offensive lineman on a safety. And then you have nothing else on this side. There's nothing else there. The ball goes to the ground. And I see Terrence Steele, okay, he missed his block. But that just means Ferguson would have cut it up inside of that guy because the angles, right? So if you see Terrence Steele has an angle on the inside to that guy, Ferguson is supposed to have the ball and probably be about here right now, attacking. So now he's here attacking, and then there's this guy with your all-pro, or not all-pro offensive lineman, but with your rookie center coming down, barreling down on him. This is what Cooper Beebe does very well. If you watch his tape at Kansas State, he is great in the screen game. He is great at going downfield. He's athletic enough to get a body on a body. And honestly, Cooper Beebe, if he makes that block, Jake Ferguson is gone. He's gone. He might score. And if he doesn't score, maybe this guy goes and gets a tackle on him, maybe at like the 2-yard line. But nevertheless, it's just a dead play. It's a dead play. So when we're playing the Eagles this week, the first few pass plays we looked at, that's exactly what we need. but we don't need Jake Ferguson not handling the business part of the play first before he gets to the pleasure part, right? So you have to handle what you're supposed to do and handle your assignment soundly before you get rewarded and then run up the field and get those big plays, those things that get you paid, right? So now we're going to take a look a little bit at the Cowboys in the running game, right? So Rico Dowdle was playing very well. He was playing very well this game. I mean, he averaged probably about 7 yards per carry. And honestly, I just hope with Zeke coming back this week that the Cowboys don't revert to what they've been doing earlier in the season, which is taking Rico Dowdle off the field and giving his reps to Ezekiel Elliott to pacify the person that they like the most. Because honestly, this is about winning. This isn't about trying to make sure that you appease the people that you love and respect, right? We need to put the best players on the field and get the best results. So here we go. We see the Cowboys line up with 5 down linemen. You have Brevin Spanford in the game at this point at tight end over here, tight to the line of scrimmage. He's not lining up in the 3-point stands, but tight to the line of scrimmage. Rico Dowdle in the shotgun. And the Falcons match it with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guys in the box. Although this guy is pretty out of the play, right? There's a guy, I don't know if you guys can see it the way I'm showing you, but there's one more guy over here, and he's pretty much out of the play. But he is the 7th guy in the box. And, you know, the Atlanta Falcons, I told you before the game started that they usually play about 6 or 7 man boxes. They don't really go 8, 9. They don't go heavy like that. They go 6, maybe 7 is like the heaviest they go. So the Cowboys had a good numbers game here. So as we watch, boom, on the snap of the ball, wow, we get our offensive linemen moving. Cooper Beebe's moving. Zach Martin's moving. Terrence Steele looks like he has a nice block on the outside. You know, Tyler Smith, right at the point of attack where you're going to be running it, he's got that guy pretty secure. You know, at this time, Awesome Richards is in the game, and he has that guy pretty much locked up. It looks like the Cowboys have it pretty well blocked up for everyone. Oh, actually, no, not Awesome Richards. Sorry. Boom. Is that Tyler Guyton pulling from the tackle position? No, it is Awesome Richards. Okay. I thought I messed up real quick. All right, so boom. At the snap of the ball, you got Cooper Beebe. He's out there. He's uncovered. Like I said, Zach Martin's good. Terrence Steele's good. Boom. Look at the blocking. And then Rico Dowdle finding the holes. These are the things we broke down before this game started. We said, hey, man, Ezekiel Elliott, he's going to get tackled early, right? He's going to fall forward. He's got some power, but he doesn't have the juice. But with Rico Dowdle, we see that he gets to and through the hole much quicker than some of our other running backs here. So, boom. When you get the play up, you have a block here, block here, block here, block, block. And CeeDee Lamb is in good position. You got Cooper Beebe ready to dirt somebody. It looks like the only guy actually missing his block is Brevin Spanford. But it doesn't matter because Rico makes that guy miss, right? And the other guys, as we see here, they're still sustaining their block. The Cowboys' run game is not that far away. I know it looks bad, right? When you look at the stats at the end of most games, not this game. This game looked great. But at the end of most games, it looks like, man, the Cowboys really can't run the football, but they can run the football. They just need to make sure that everybody is doing what they do. And the coaching staff honestly needs to take the approach of screw Jerry Jones, screw what he says, screw who he wants in there. I know he wants Zeke. You know what? Leave Zeke on the sideline, play the game, and let the chips fall where they may, and then afterwards worry about how much Jerry Jones bitches. Because Rico Dowdle is a much better player at this point in his career, and it's on tape, right? We watched it. You guys are here with me. You've seen what I've showed you. So you know this guy right here is playing better football. So boom, he makes that guy miss. He gets to and through the hole. Now, there's no more to be gotten here. And it's nice to see him, you know, get there, fall forward for a couple more yards, and make the Atlanta Falcons think about, oh man, the Cowboys are going to be running the ball on us today, right? So boom, here we go, another run by the Dallas Cowboys. And this is the type of thing, I know it sounds repetitive because we talked about it last week, we're talking about it this week, but if the Cowboys are going to have a chance in this game against the Philadelphia Eagles, they need to continue to get the run game going. And the Cowboys had the run game going against the Falcons the entire night. We went over the stats at the end of the game. The Cowboys dominated almost every single category and still found a way to lose this game. So I'll take the weeks where the Cowboys are dominating every category, and I'd rather see what that looks like at the end of the day as opposed to figuring out what it looks like if we don't play well. Now, so you see the Cowboys here, 5 down linemen. They got the tight end. They got the running back in the backfield. So the Cowboys have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, plus the runner. And the Atlanta Falcons match it with 6 guys in the box. They don't even go heavy here, right? So the Cowboys decide, hey, we're going to keep it on. We're going to run this. Dak doesn't check out of it. And the Cowboys decide they're going to run this ball. Boom. So now on the snap of the ball, you can see you got Tyler Smith pulling. And then you have Cooper Beebe head up against the defensive tackle with Zach Martin coming to help. It looks like Terrence Steele has a pretty good block on his guy. Tight end has a pretty good block here. Guyton has a pretty good block here. Linebackers are running pretty free. Boom. Cooper Beebe doing a much better job since the bye week of not necessarily just sticking with one guy. One of my big things was, hey, Cooper Beebe tries to sustain the block too long, right? He's always trying to, when he engages, he wants to stay there and he wants to just dominate that guy. It looks nice. That's awesome. But what we need you to do is to get up to the second level as the center and cut the defense in half, right? Make sure none of those other guys on the backside can get into the play and stop the play before it really gets going. And he does an awesome job of that here. Zach Martin gives him the silent count. Boom, puts the hand out. Okay, ball snap. Boom. Get on that. Okay, Zach, you got that guy? Boom. Now I'm up here on that guy. And what does Rico do? He gets a nice gain. If that guy doesn't make that tackle, Rico Dowdle probably runs for another 5 to 7 yards on that play. Looks like CeeDee Lamb actually gets a pretty decent block on his guy too. I see his guy on the floor. I don't know if that's because CeeDee, yep. Oh, no. Okay, his guy slipped right here. But CeeDee Lamb does a pretty good job of engaging. If Rico would have been able to break that tackle and bring the ball that way, CeeDee Lamb probably would have, been able to get out and maybe help him by blocking number 37. Maybe that plays a little bit longer of a play. But I mean, Rico Dowdle had so many of these plays during this game. This is what we're going to need from the Cowboys against the Philadelphia Eagles. They're going to have to run the ball, and they're going to have to stick to it. And they're going to have to commit to it no matter what the score is. In the Atlanta Falcons game, as you can see, the score is 27-13 here, and the Cowboys are actually still running the ball. Now, this is with Cooper rushing the game. So now we get a little bit more realistic of a look on how the Cowboys' run game is going to look on Sunday, because this is pretty much the personnel they're going to be running out there. So you got a tight end in the game. You got Tyler Guyton in the game. Rico Dowdle still in the backfield. No motion. Boom. Right on the snap. Rico Dowdle takes the ball. You see Cooper Beebe. You see Tyler Guyton. You see Zach Martin. And the crazy part is this play is not even blocked up that great. But this is what we're talking about when we talk about making sure that we don't outthink ourselves and go with more Ezekiel Elliott as opposed to more Rico Dowdle. So on the snap of the ball, Rico gets it. All right, boom. Right? Tyler Smith's in good position. Zach Martin's in good position. Tyler Guyton's in good position up here. Terrence Steele's on his guy. You got a block here. Everything looks good. BB looks a little lost. I think he's trying to go for this guy. Right? Boom. Rico is to and through the hole so quickly and so decisively that now he's up here on this guy. Now this guy has to make a play. Maybe this guy, if Guyton doesn't sustain his block, but Guyton does. Both guys end up kind of converging on Rico Dowdle to make the play. But that's a very well blocked play. The Cowboys running game is making progress, and I'm just worried that the general manager is going to get in the way of this progress. The Cowboys don't have a lot to hang their hat on this season, right? We're looking pretty banged up. Dak is now going to be out for at least 4 games, probably the rest of the season. You know, if you're going to have anything, and trust me, I'm not expecting the Dallas Cowboys to make a playoff run here, right? This is not what I'm talking about. But if you want to get some things going so that when you get into next season, you're like, these are the things I can hang my hat on. This is what my offensive line is doing. This is the type of running game that we can have. You need to make sure that you stick with your best running players in order to make that happen. I'm not so sure that that's going to necessarily be the case. So now let's take a look at the Philadelphia Eagles in the run game a little bit on defense, right? Because, hey, they got some guys over there. Jordan Davis, they got Jalen Carter, they got Nolan Smith, they got Josh Sweat, they got N'Kobe Dean's playing some minutes now. So you got some guys there, the Georgia defense over here. You know, you got to make sure that, you know, you're making these guys play honest and not just letting them tee off on Cooper Rush. So the Jaguars go heavy. Now, the Cowboys, I haven't seen them do too much of this super heavy offensive line. They usually keep a tight end on one side, but they like to have one to the other side. You know, they're not really out of the pistol much like you see the Jaguars here. So it's not necessarily a matchup that's going apples for apples here. But let's watch. So the Eagles are matching this with a 4-3, 7-man front, sort of like Atlanta did. Boom. So the linebacker is just free to just roam. I mean, did anyone try to block him? Boom. On a snap of the ball, everything looks okay right now, right? The Jaguars have some late motion. They got a guy coming across. They got a double team here on one of the defensive tackles. They got another double team here. They got a tight end here. And they got another tight end, you know, going to help him out. This guy, I'm guessing, is trying to lead the way. No, he's just wanting to fake just to kind of get these guys on the move. But this guy right here, he's not fooled. He sees exactly what's going on. And when we talk about Cooper Beebe, right, one of the things I always talk about is hit that guy, get up to the second level. If you notice, their offensive line tried to make sure to sustain the block, right? That was the 65. Boom, does a great job getting that push on him, right? And then goes up there. But 75 and 72, they're just so concerned with this guy. If 72 comes off here and actually gets on to this guy, maybe that play isn't made. But instead, he just is so focused on sustaining the block that Etienne gets stopped before he even gets a chance to start. This is the poor part of the Cowboys' offensive line, or the way they were playing earlier in the season is very similar to what we see here. So let's hope that the way they've been playing lately is kind of what we'll see going forward. So once again, let's take a look. So Jaguars running the ball again here, right? Philadelphia is going to make sure that they match it with 7 guys in the box. Not too heavy, not too light, just kind of normal, you know, what you normally would do. So the Jaguars this time didn't go as heavy in the formation. They have 1 tight end. So this looks more similar to a Cowboys formation. The quarterback's looking like he's making some calls at the line of scrimmage here. He gets underneath center. You got a single back set. You know, let's see what happens. So the linebacker creeps up. They're already trying to get the call. They know it's run. They don't care. Second tight end motions in at the last moment. Boom. Oh, this is a sneak. This is not what I was looking for. Sorry, guys. Did the wrong play. This is the one that I'm looking for here. My bad. So, again, the Jaguars line up. They got a tight end on one side. Just one tight end, right? They have a single back in the backfield. The quarterback's in shotgun. So this is, again, very similar to a Cowboys formation. This is kind of one of our signature formations. So boom, snap of the ball, right? You got you got murked. But anyway, snap of the ball here. So, boom. You got a couple of guys going here pulling. So you got this guy pulling. You got this guy pulling, the two guards. Tackle is supposed to get up here and make this. You got your other guy having a one-on-one block with Carter. Good luck with that shit. So you would think the running back's going to have a lane to the outside to make this play go. Now, the running back doesn't follow his blocks. This guy's actually blocking well. This guy has an angle on this guy. This guy's here. This guy's here. Running back, if you're looking, Bigsby should actually be taking this play this way. But he thought his guy had this secured up and that this guy was going to secure this block. And he's like, all I got to do is beat this guy through the hole, and I got a big play. But what happens? Carter's a beast, dude. He's a beast. He's a beast. He's good in the run game and in the pass game. And that's exactly what he does. He comes off the play. He makes the play. And this is where the vision of your running back, this is where it comes down to him because, again, Rico Dowdle is going to have to see that play and stick with it pretty continually throughout the course of the game and not make those bad decisions of trying to cut back early or trying to get fooled and thinking that you can get extra yards. If you're sitting there with Jalen Carter, man, you just gotta count your chips and say, hey, man, I'm not running with that guy being blocked one-on-one. I'm not going that way. I'm not cutting back and thinking all of a sudden that I've got a lane here because it'll get taken away from you pretty quickly. So now let's take a look at the Eagles in the short passing game because this is where the Cowboys are going to live. All right, so you got your guy going in motion here. You got a tight end lined up. You got ETN in the backfield. Boom, they fake. You got some time here. Got some time. You get it out to the running back. This looked a lot different than Atlanta looked, right? 53, not only was he making plays in the running game, but 53 is all over it in the passing game, right? Nobody gets a hand on him. Nobody blocks him. This time he actually lines up. So we watched him in the run game. He was lined up straight up in the middle here. Straight up in the middle here, right? This time he's lined up to the outside, right? So his responsibility is the running back. And we saw Rico Dowdle on a play to the right side, right, to like Terrence Steele side. So not to Tyler Guyton side, to Terrence Steele side. He caught a ball. He's wide open. And then the cornerback tried to come up and make a tackle. Couldn't tackle him. Rico ran through it. Got an extra 5-6 yards. Made it a 12-yard gain in the passing game. If you look at the linebacker here for the Philadelphia Eagles, he's on it. He's on it. Number 53 is very aware. He sees what's going on right away. He's already making his break towards the ball. Boom, wrapping up the ball carrier. So if the Cowboys are going to run some of these plays, it's going to have to look a little bit different in the short passing game than just going to Rico Dowdle right away because it looks like 53 knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing. And he sees the play, he diagnoses the play, and then he gets there. Again, the Jacksonville Jaguars line up. Now we're lined up with a heavy formation to the right. So they have some extra guys in there to the right to try to either get some blockers out for someone or just to give the defense a little more eye candy to have to be concerned about. So, you know, you have your 5-down lineman, you got running back and backfield, but you got a tight end here, a receiver here tight to the formation, and another receiver here tight to him. So the Eagles match it again with nickel, but you see, number 53 is here. And I'm not saying 53 is going to make the play, but 53 always seems to be lined up in the right place to be in position to make the play, right? So I feel like we have to watch out for Zach Bond quite a bit. So boom, snap of the play, fake to ETN, ball goes out, and the corners do such a good job using the sideline. Now the guy gets the first down. He uses his blockers to get those 6 yards to get a first down. And honestly, that's all we need here when we're playing this game. But the Eagles still played it very well. So the Cowboys are going to have to be super aware in the short passing game. We're getting a little long here, so I'm not going to hold you guys anymore. But the Cowboys, the point of it is the Cowboys need to be playmakers in the short passing game, need to make sure that their offensive line is getting to the second level in the running game. And I still think if this happens, I don't know, honestly, if they have a chance in this game. But if we're looking for ways that we can win, these are the ways that we can win, right? Defensively, I also showed you ways that we can win. You know, when we looked at it a couple days ago, these are the ways we can win offensively. And maybe, hopefully, you put together a little defensive wins with a couple of offensive wins, with some special team wins, and maybe, just maybe, the Cowboys might have a chance to pull this game out this week. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. This has been Knockers on the Bottom. I'm your host, Jay Miller. Jay Miller, if you like, you can follow me on Twitter at JMillerIYL. You can also hit me up in the comments below. Anything you want me to cover, any questions that you have. You can also send me an email at knockersonthebottom@gmail.com or knockersonthebottom@outlook.com. I'll take them here. I'll take them there. I'll take them via Twitter. Put it into a mailbag. Make it a formal segment. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. I love you guys so much. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button if you like the show so you know when I'm coming on. Share it with anybody that you want to share it. But until next time, again, love you guys. This has been Knockers on the Bottom. I'm your host, Jay Miller. Jay Miller, if you like. Peace.